Well, we're back on the old TE20. It's a Sparex TE20 we call it. They've helped us out with the parts with it. And I've had a lot of requests about steering boxes on Fergies, on TE20s. I've never ever done a video on one. Why, I have no idea. I just haven't had one come along. But on this tractor here, it's leaking a lot out the sides of the shafts, and I thought I'd address the steering box before I put the fuel tank on. Now, for the throttle rod comes right up here, and if you take the whole steering box off, you need to undo the yoke at the front of the throttle here. That's your governor adjustment, and with the governor adjustment coming off, sometimes people have a lot of trouble setting that up again. But so I've decided to probably try and show another way of doing things, and it's a bit of a cheat. There's a couple of different things we need to look at, but first off, people have trouble getting the steering wheels off. Now, we'll start off with I loosened this off before. 1 1/16 inch spanner fits this steering nut, and I pulled that off and I poured a bit of oil down there. Then I did the bolt back up again and just did him up firm, and that way hopefully the oil could go down through. Now, I have this puller. It's not an expensive puller. It does work on the TE20 some stages, sometimes. I do have a bearing separator that I use too, so we'll just pop this on. Now, this bottom collar on a TE20 will come down, it should anyway, and that will give you room to get your puller on. Now, you always need about 6 hands for this job. I'll see. That looks not too bad, but I wouldn't mind getting it. No. Okay, that's gone under now. This one's gone under. These can be really tight, and other times I'll just fall off for you. So I'll try and get that right under there, and try and have this puller bolt right in the middle. So we'll tighten this one up. Okay, so hopefully those legs don't want to spread now, and we'll put a little bit of tension on this bolt. Oh, look at that. Okay, you think you're going to get away with it like that every time? You're dreaming. That was easy. Look, that's the easiest one I've had probably in a dozen, so just call me Lucky Lance, eh? Now it's stuck there. No, it's not. So there you go. I'm going to replace this steering wheel just because of the dirt and that on it. It makes your hands filthy, so I don't really want that. Oh, sorry, I'll maybe give the camera a bit of a flogging there. Up the top here, you have the chrome collar. There's a spring, and there's a little collar that sits in the spring. You can buy all this new, and there's a felt. And the felt, the idea of this is that any water coming down the steering wheel will hit this edge here and drop off out of the way, won't go into the steering box, and the felt is to steal the dust out too. Now, you can buy all this aftermarket. I have it for sale aftermarket at Queensland Tractor Spares. If you think the chrome's going to be really good quality, you're going to be disappointed. Look, they're chrome, they're nice. If you keep a bit of polish on them, the chrome will last. If you don't do that, they won't last. In the old days, the chrome, they'd form this piece. They would coat it in copper, and after they covered it in copper and give it a bit of a polish, they'd put the nickel plating on, or the chrome plating. The new ones, doesn't matter where you find them, they just press this piece out and they put the chrome straight over the steel. It doesn't last as good as the old ones. We sell them, but we do often warn people about them. If you have a good one and you have a chrome works in your area, it's not a bad idea. But yeah, sometimes this spring's all rusted out, so you do need to buy the kit. But look, different strokes for different folks. We won't get too into that too much. So this is your main shaft now, and on this shaft there's a tapered roller bearing top and bottom. You can buy that as a part, and we will deal with this and the preload on there separately. It'll be in this steering box video, but we won't worry about that just yet. Now, we'll put the camera down here a little bit further, down lower, and I'll show you how we get the steering knuckle off just to free it up. I will sit the steering wheel back on here loosely just to show you a few turns. So I'll get set up for the next bit and we'll come back. Okay, we're down the side of the box now. I can't see the monitor, I'm just hoping I've got everything in the shot still. And this is the steering knuckle. Now this is the tie rod that goes up to the front axle. I've got it undone at the front. But on the side here, where it comes out, you'll need an 11/16 spanner, and the 11/16 spanner undoes the nut that holds that firm in on the taper. Now there's a couple of different ways of doing this depending on how you're equipped, what you have at hand. You can slide a little bit of plate, a little bit of steel plate in there, and I often do it this way, and we just take that bolt out, or keep undoing the nut until you can feel tension coming on that nut. So that's starting to get firm. So we know we've got a little bit of tension there. So what we should be able to do from here is give this a bit of a crack. I should have a punch here. Hang on, I'll go and get it. Okay, now what we're looking to do is just come in here and give that a swift hit like that. And there we go. Bring my little milk crate up to sit on. Marvellous things, milk crates. So we should be able to now undo this. There's a washer there. Take the steering knuckle out. I always like to put the nut back on straight away, and by putting the nut back on straight away, I screw it down so the thread's almost level there. So if it gets bumped, bashed, anything like that, we've got it covered. So the back end has a dog leg in the tie rod end itself, and the front one is just straight. So these aren't too bad for an old tractor, but look, we'll see whether we replace them or not. I'll go around the other side and pop the tie rod off there, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what we do up in here. Okay, I'll try and show you a problem that I get a lot of phone calls on and a lot of emails, and I'll try and explain it. Now, as the steering wheel turns one way, you can see this arm down here moves, and that pushes the tie rods so that it gives you a forward, left or right hand steering. So while this one's going forward on the left, the back one will be going back, and I'll see. You can just see each side of the steering box there, how that's working. And so I'll set the camera up and I'll try and show you where you can get caught in doing these. Okay, I've got the camera set up around the back there now, and as the steering wheel goes left, right, I've explained that the arms come back and forth. Now, I was going to pull this plug out here just to show you, try and show in there what works, but watch this. I've had to put it back in quickly, I've got a pot under the tractor there now, so no wonder ours was leaking. Now, you might think, oh, that's good, it's got a lot of oil in it. Well, it may have a lot of oil in it because there's a lot of water down on the bottom of the oil. And as you know, oil floats on water and up she comes. So not a good thing, I wouldn't think. So, but look, the problem people get is they have these tie rods off for one reason or another, painting, putting a new end on, whatever they choose, and they bug around here and they keep turning the steering wheel and they get to there, which is maximum, and this one's going well. We'll try this way. Might have to take the bowl off the air cleaner to try and explain this. Without the tie rod on, it wants to go all the way forward. Whoop. Okay, where did I put my rag? Up on the battery box. And so, what can happen on some tractors is they get so far, look at that. And so, when they come back, sometimes you can't actually get them back. And you know you're pretty well right when this arm is lined up with the top bolt on your foot peg, and so is the other one. You know it's come back to the right position. But what people can do is when you get it up here, say, and you're doing that, for some reason, there we go, we can go out of tooth. And so now our timing's all wrong. So there's no way our arm is lining up with the foot plate and our arm's lining up with the foot plate. So you can sometimes. So you'll see the way I've gone there. So if you hold this up, bring that one back a little bit, and then let him come back in, you know you're right when you can pull him back out again. So where's this fella need to go? This one's gone as far as he can go. That's probably too far now. And see, that one's come off. Oh, we're in big trouble now. Well, you're not really. You can play around with them. Now this one here, see, that's gone all sloppy. And this one's tight, so you can end up with these all over the place, but don't get too worried about it. You can line them all up again, no worries at all. And if you have a look at, there's a bolt here and a bolt there. Now these nuts have a screwdriver slot in here, and they hold the arc across to the pinion inside here. So you can back these off with your trusty 1 1/16 spanner. And you can take this right out, it just doesn't matter at this stage. So is that one? Yeah, the whole thing's turning there, and only only the outer's turning here. But you can, by doing that, by backing this one off, that lets you pull that gear out and it gives you more room. So you can turn it easier now. So you can slide these out and line him back up again. So I'll grab a screwdriver and back this one out. Might need a bit of persuasion. Oh, that's going to be a problem, that one. Okay, we'll take this nut in until it's just level. That may help. Sometimes a jar will help loosen things up a little bit. This one feels really tight though. No, we're going to have to deal with that. But so at the moment, we've fiddled along. We've loosened this one off so I could turn a bit more. And even with only one, we're right. This arm now is lining up there. That arm there is lining up with the top of the foot plate, but now that steering wheel mightn't be where you want it. So you can just come up till they both stop again. You can just hear that both go. So now we'll come back again, and now we're lined up with the centre spoke in the middle. So the point of the exercise is that if you get caught like this, and I tell people, you know, try and loosen these screws. And the other option, when you loosen the screws, you can put a screwdriver in there, and we can see that shaft go in there. Now, that's the amount of movement I've given it on that side by undoing this screw. Now this other one on the other side here, of course, we haven't got any because we can't undo that screw. I will try and get that screw undone though. But so by loosening this screw off, that's given us a bit of movement. I'll go around now and nip him up. Oh, where are we? And you can feel that there's very little movement. Okay, well look at this. I've got this is just a suction pump, and I've put the hose down into the bottom of the steering box, and look at all that coming out. That's not oil, that's water. It's water and oil and rubbish, and oh, we've got a little bit of oil there now, but a lot of it, if I can get that hose down there, right down near the bottom. Push him right down and pull him out. So we're getting a little bit of oil there, but most of it's water and rubbish. That's water, you can see the water. I'll try and... It's got lumps and bumps and bits of rubbish in it, so it's actually even stuck the valve. So, but what that means is that's why the water level, the oil level was so high, because it's full of water and absolute crap. And we're going to fix this properly, we are going to pull the steering box off.